One day I walked into a door.
We wear caps a lot, not because of the sun, but to protect our noses from being broken on lampposts and low-hanging branches of trees. But I went smack into a door and I sat down and I looked out that window just over there, and I realised, probably for the first time, how little I could see. The feeling is actually of being imprisoned in your own body, which is a feeling of sheer panic, because you can't get outside your own body, and you will never get outside your own body. The sadness was in not being able to see my wife, not being able to see my children. I remember my child on her Deb's night. I couldn't see her beautiful dress and how well she looked. And it's still a raw emotion that I won't be able to see grandchildren or weddings, or so much beauty in the world that you're missing. It's really, if one was to describe it, it's really a bereavement, because it's like losing part of your heart. Because if you lose somebody you love or something we love, and probably most of us, the most important sense we have that we love most is our sight. So it's like losing part of your heart. So it's a bereavement process, a sadness process you have to go through. The image I have for adapting is climbing a cliff. I used to do some climbing when I was younger, and your instructor might be at the bottom. You're well hooked on, and you're climbing this cliff, and you're halfway up it, and your legs are like jelly. You can't find a grip anywhere. You look, there's no grips. And your instructor says to you, there are grips. That you're saying, there's no grip. There's grips there. Look again. You'll find grips. And you're convinced there's no grips. But you just relax, you steady your legs, and you start to look. And invariably, you'll find a small grip. Maybe one for your right hand that you can fit a couple of fingers in. Maybe one for your right foot. And before you know it, slowly, you're beginning to ascend the cliff again. When you're in that dark place, you don't know how to adapt, but adaptation comes slowly. It starts with simple things like an iPhone. I didn't need to use Braille. I can speak into my iPhone. I can schedule an appointment. I can surf the web. It'll speak to me. I will speak to it. It is amazing. I can read books, listen to music, listen to podcasts. It's my window to the world.
Messages. One unread message. Messages. Carl Lennon. Hi Claire. I've sent you an outlines of the project, a rough draft of the interview questions, and a very rough MP3 edit to the introduction to the video. Let me know what you think, and if you have any problems accessing them. Carl. 1742. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
I remember being in work and my eyes went very odd. I couldn't see properly, and I kind of thought to myself, that's odd. That's not right. I went into the doctor the next morning, and it was like, boom, your retinas have detached. I had 6 years of daytime vision and no nighttime vision. So in a way, I kind of got used to being visually impaired for half of my day. For the nighttime, I couldn't see, and I needed a guide dog or a sight assistance, but for the daytime I was quite independent, and I could get around no problem. Then when my sight went altogether at the age of 24, then it was another bomb. It's like all of a sudden your sight's gone the next day. Well, when I think about a journey that I can compare my sight loss to, my mind wanders to a time when my mum gave me a chain with a tiny little turtle charm on it, and she told me that you will do whatever you want to do in life, but you'll just do it at a different pace or go via a different path than other people might do. And it's kind of like the turtle is slow and steady, but he gets where he needs to go. So that's kind of always what I've thought of when I've come to any challenges or issues that might relate to sight loss or achieving goals, regardless of being blind. I would say my iPhone is like my right arm. I use it for everything, and it's full of useful apps specifically for blind people. One I use every day is Flexi, which is a predictive texting app, which allows you to text extremely quickly with with no mistakes really. It's fantastic. Another app is called Intel Money Reader, which allows me to identify what banknotes I have in my purse. TapTapSee app is a great app that allows you to take a photograph of something you're unsure of, send it off to someone out in cyber world, and they will send you an explanation of what is in the photograph, so it identifies what you need identifying. One coping mechanism I find really useful is black humour. So basically just taking the mick out of myself, or having my friends or other people take the mick out of myself. When I go for medical treatment for my optic nerve, which got damaged, the technician will kind of say to me, "Jesus, Claire, are you blind or what? Look, if I'm trying to pick up something," or "the state of that cut, where did you get it? Were you blind when you got that or what?" I really respond to that a lot better than I would than if someone was giving me sympathy and "Janie, aren't you great?" and that kind of stuff. Although I was quite depressed for a time, I did also take a very pragmatic approach to it. I had a job that I needed to get back to. I was off sick for a few months, and I had very good friends who dragged me out of the house to bring me out and to have a fun time. So I suppose with goals and with people around me, I found it easier to come to terms with. I think my first sign that I could recover from this sight loss for me was my ability to do my job just as well as I had been doing before I lost my sight. Yeah, I was able to perform actually quite well, and I did perform very well in work, and I found that my eyesight had no impact on it, hardly at all. And that was a great sense of empowerment and fulfillment for me. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say my life is a bed of roses and, you know, I'm so inspirational and so brave. I definitely don't think I am those things. I think, you know, you're dealt what you're dealt with in life, and you just have to get on with it. And I think that's really my approach. You know, a lot of things about being blind are you know, they're very, very difficult. Going out to meet friends takes a huge amount of planning that you wouldn't even think about when you have sight. You can't just kind of stroll out the door. You can't ramble through town just for the sake of it. So it's pretty kind of difficult having to adjust to that kind of a reduction in your freedom in that way. But at the same time, you know, like, you just have to get on with it, and that's really what I feel.